Hi, Paul Stubbs here from PP Property. We are at a stone house in the forest of Central Portugal. It has been rebuilt with care, keeping the original stonework. You are a short drive from the River Zêzere, with river beaches and water sports galore. Inside you get vaulted wooden ceilings, exposed stone, a good kitchen and 2 modern bathrooms. There's even a brook that runs all year round. The roof and windows are new, so the hard work is done. It's a great home, a peaceful escape or a rental opportunity. The price is €150,000 and I'll show you the exact location later. Please like and subscribe and let's take a look inside. Back at a property we have looked at before, but it's stubbornly refusing to sell and I want to find out why. So, please do comment and tell me why you think this fantastic property hasn't sold. It is an exposed stone cottage in one of the prettiest valleys you're ever likely to come across. Well, anywhere really. It's a really beautiful valley and it's just a few kilometres from the River Zêzere, which is a dammed river, and it's turned it into a lake, which is a haven for water sports of just about every description you can possibly imagine. Fishing, water skiing, wakeboarding. In fact, they have wakeboarding championships further down the lake from here. There are swimming spots, people go paddleboarding, we go paddleboarding. Well, my family go paddleboarding. I do a lot of falling off and stuff. But it's just great. The water is much warmer than the Atlantic, which is an hour away anyway. And this is just a few minutes away. If you want to get to the barbecue areas and the hangouts a little bit further, where a lot of people go, and we regularly meet up there with friends of ours in the barbecue area. We all bring a little bit of thing for the barbie, everyone slaps it on, there's tables and chairs and all that sort of thing. And it's just a great place to hang out. And here's the location. The River Zêzere is 2.5 kilometres away, about an 11-minute cycle ride. The Chesery restaurant is 2.2 kilometres from the house and is one of the best restaurants in the area. Cabaços is 3.5 kilometres for shops, cafés and a supermarket. Tomar is 27 minutes, which is a World Heritage site, and Lisbon is 1 hour and 33 minutes. So you get peace and space with everything close by. Now the land, which is possibly the stumbling block, let's be honest, it's steep and all the rest of it, but you know what? A few €1,000 transforms that completely. You get a guy in, Arsenio Grassa, I have mentioned him before in my videos. He could be up there in his machine making huge terraces, making it better ecologically, and much more useful. You know, get yourself a hot tub up there, an above ground pool, that kind of thing, and relaxation areas, and it just becomes fabulous. Now the first room we come into up here has a really nice feature. I probably showed you in the intro. I love this exposed stone wall, and of course more of that could be done inside, and the current owners chose not to do that for whatever reason. Just speed and ease, because like actually creating that look, I know it looks like it was just built there and that's how it looks, but it's not the case. To make a wall look like that requires a lot of work. But the ceilings are obviously vaulted pretty much throughout. They've created a couple of spaces inside where there's not vaulted ceilings, but they've been done really beautifully. I do like this style, and I can never remember what it's called, with the sort of apex thing that provides the stability for the rest of the roof. It was more prevalent in the older buildings before laminate woods came along and took away a lot of the necessity. But here's one of the spaces I spoke to you about. I mean, you can do Or you could put a bed in here, of course, no problem whatsoever. Turn it into an office or a TV room. I quite like it as an office because windows bug me in offices. I do a lot of work on computers and you're either staring into light or... I prefer artificial light anyway in offices to natural light. Always have done, but my work's computers, not everybody's is. And when you're editing, glare off windows and things like that can be a pain. But here we are. It's got a decent kitchen. Extractor fan needs oven putting in, obviously, but it's there ready to go. Everything's plumbed in. The cabinets are of decent quality and all ready to go. You could just come in here and you know, obviously, as you can see, yeah, it's got electricity, it's got water. You can come and live in here tomorrow. There's more to do. It's got one of those old lovers' seats where I'm told ladies were allowed to, unmarried maidens could talk through the window to their lovers while sitting on these seats. I'm not entirely sure how true that all is, but that's always the explanation that's given to me. It already has a hydro massage shower. They've kept the vaulted ceiling look inside here. It's got of course, it's got a WC and a lovely wash basin with some sinks underneath. It leads out onto this balcony area. Now, I'll take a bit of a walk up there in a little while, but it accesses the land and goes onto the terraces. You can walk up via the terraces. If it was me, I'll get the machine in and just, it really is, in the whole scheme of things, it's not a lot of money to make that area up there into something really quite special. So that's the route I would take. Now, before we go downstairs, I'm just going to point something out. This is where, if it was me, I'd put a stairwell in. Now, if you're single, you can just live up here and rent downstairs out, and you get good money renting downstairs out. No problem whatsoever. Probably most of the year, and in the high season, you get good money indeed. And it's up to you how you do that, whether it's a bread and breakfast route or create a completely independent entity down here. But if you wanted a family home, which is what I personally would probably use it for, I would block this off and make it a window because, frankly, it's a little bit too tall for a door. Now, it is, it's got lots of the lovely stone wall features here, and they are fabulous. But it's also unfinished in other ways. I mean, the ceiling heights are good. I can walk comfortably under all of these beams. And I'm not the shortest of blokes. And so, yeah, there's no problem with heights. There's no problem with any of that. That all just needs rendering or plasterboarding, whichever your preference might be. But there's plenty of space. I mean, plenty of space. Of course, as required, it's got its own fuse box, and all the windows are double glazed. They were all done at the point of renovation, the original renovation. Again, this is what happens when you don't spend all the time on these stone walls. They always looked like this where in antiquity people slapped lime mortar into them. Now, if you want them to look wonderful, you have to dig all that out and do a lot of cleaning work. Now, obviously down here, there's not a lot to do to get that look, that fabulous look. Now, I think most people really enjoy. So down here, again, bathroom, which makes everything else much easier if you want to do. Keep it independent. The plumbing's down here, there's water down here, and obviously waste pipes are down here. So it would be very little bother to put in a kitchen and of course a couple of bedrooms. So you could make another apartment down here without too much bother whatsoever. Now, let's have a look at a better look. I mean, I did give you some glimpses before, but a better look of the outside, and then we'll, oh look, a rare moment, a piece of traffic coming along. That's actually one of my neighbours. I'm actually invested in this valley. I don't live here, but I am invested in this valley, and that is the neighbour of the house I am invested in, just down the road. Lovely lady. But yeah, this is what it looks like in more detail from the outside. That's the sort of patio thing we stood on earlier, and I think you can see the concrete steps, and we'll have a bit of a nose up there in just a moment. But yeah, we'll get up a little bit closer. See all the electricity's been put in. It's all been gutted. There's the water meter. Needs a lid put in on the box there. But the stone's really pretty, and you could go further with this. You could rake it out and make it even more defined and prettier still. Obviously around the windows could be improved a little bit, but it's just dress up, and not a lot of money for the dress up. And once that's done, this really would be spectacularly pretty. It is spectacularly pretty. I've had over 1 million views on Facebook on this property. We've done scores of viewings on it, and for some reason people can't get past the garden. And while I understand that to a degree, it's unnecessary, because it could so easily be fixed. It really could. So I'm going to walk through, and I'll have a little wander around, well, a stumble probably around up there. Oh no, I'll tell you what. First of all, I'll show you the brook, but I'll cut, and I'll come to that in a second. Okay, so here we are, back on the terrace. I'll just show you. This is the back end of the house, and there's the concrete steps we saw a moment ago. So this accesses the first of the terraces, and yeah, see the top of the roof. It looks quite enormous when you're up here, actually. But it was all completely new a few years ago, so there's no bother here. It's a giant satellite dish that wants taking away somewhere. Now this is the bottom terrace, which doesn't need a lot doing to it, obviously. You could make a really nice, I mean, you still get a machine up here, flatten it right out, and then you could put barbecue areas, relaxation areas, fix that bit of broken wall there. But up there, you want to get a big machine in. Personally, I'll just, make these into firewood. All the trees that are yours. It's up as far as pretty much the eucalyptus trees up there. And I think some of them even belong to you. Now I think they're a scourge on the earth myself, but other people have different ideas. I do have friends that crop them, make money from it, and everyone's entitled to make a living. But I personally think they should have stayed in Australia, where they belong. But yeah, you can create a whole lot. It's really not worth tramping around. It's smaller terraces than this, and it just goes up in terraces. But you just make bigger terraces, even if they're slightly sloping or whatever, but you can make 2 or 3 bigger terraces. You can put above ground pools up there, but you could put all sorts of relaxation areas, lovely flower beds. You could do all sorts. And there is water running down that side of the property, the left-hand side of the property, if you're still on the road looking up. And you could easily get irrigation across if you wanted to grow crops on your big terraces or whatever, vineyards, I love this valley. As I said, I'm also invested in the valley. I've got several friends who are invested in this valley. It is beautiful. Come and have a look. One of you's got to buy it, because I'm kind of sick of showing it, people. Come and buy this house. Oh, and like the video and subscribe to the channel, would you? Be a love.